So the last few days of announcements has absolutely blown any of my expectations away, and to be honest, I keep my expectations pretty low this time of year, but I'm really pleasantly surprised. If you're a fan of RPGs and JRPGs, you know just how much stuff we're getting and how much stuff was announced. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at my favorite announcements and the ones that I think you should be most excited about as well. So before we get to that, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you're excited for. I'm, really tired because I stayed up super duper late to watch the Nintendo Direct, so my eyes are hanging, but I'm still super excited. So let's summarize the last few announcements of the last few days, and let's get ready for a great year of gaming ahead. So I've already made a video about this one here, but Square Enix closed out Summer Games Fest with Final Fantasy VII Revelation. This is the final chapter in the remake trilogy, set for spring of next year. We finally get to explore the world with the High Wind. We get to take on the weapons with possibly large-scale battles in doing so, and of course, every moment in the Final Fantasy series as a whole kind of converges into this one moment. So it's going to be really fun to see how this ends. And another quick summary here, Dragon Quest XII Beyond Dreams. This was part of the 40th anniversary presentation a couple of weeks ago, and yes, I've already covered this. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of things that are up in the air. There's a couple reasons possibly why this game rebranded and restructured and changed. If you want to know my summary on that, please watch either my live stream or my 40th anniversary video, or even the why it's changed video. I think there's a lot of information that you guys can learn from that. Now, let's talk about some of the stuff that happened in the Nintendo Direct, because admittedly, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I usually temper my expectations, but I came away really surprised. So let's start off with Kingdom Hearts 4. This one resurfaced during the Direct, and we got a look at some great gameplay footage, and this is a really interesting look at Kingdom Hearts because, well, obviously it looks a little bit more realistic. Sora's journey through this realistic lens continues to be a focal point alongside some more teases, and the game also is confirmed for Switch 2, and of course we can expect PS5, Xbox, and PC, whatever. So after years of minimal updates, even a short trailer felt significant, less like a tease and more proof of concept that things are actually moving forward. Now, I'm not the world's biggest Kingdom Hearts fan. I was a massive fan back in the early 2000s, and I was super excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, and the story kind of went over my head. So I'm not super stoked for Kingdom Hearts 4, but I will still play it. And admittedly, it does look like a callback to Final Fantasy Versus 13 or even Final Fantasy 15 with the way that it plays, and even the fact that Sora looks just like Noctis as well. So that's going to be one to look out for, and we'll have some more information hopefully in the next year. Final Fantasy Resonance was a huge surprise for me, and this is the first brand new HD 2D Final Fantasy game. Unlike recent mainline entries that have focused on, going away from turn-based things and being more action-heavy like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake series, this looks closer to an Octopath themed Final Fantasy experience, both in tone and presentation as well. Now, this isn't just another spin-off. This feels like a deliberate callback to the series' roots. And within the press release, it was announced that this is based on the first story arc of the mobile game, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. It's not supposed to be a direct port. It's been refined and extensively rebuilt as a full-fledged JRPG. Now, you might hear that and kind of doubt what this experience is going to be, but remember, people really loved Octopath Traveler 0, so that was based off of a mobile game as well. So some of these mobile games are really doing something special enough for them to say, let's put this on consoles and see what happens. So I'm really excited for that one. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World is obviously another spin-off in the Monster series, and something that I'm not 100% excited for, but obviously I'm a budding super fan of Dragon Quest, so I'll probably give it a shot at some stage. We've got the dual protagonists, which are some of the wives that you can choose from in Dragon Quest V, and it also seems like the other one was teased, so that's exciting. So we're going to have this familiar focus on monster recruitment and team building. Now, this obviously isn't going to grab the same attention as Dragon Quest XII, but the Monster series does have a dedicated following, and this entry arrives at a great time when creature collecting RPGs are, I think, having a real resurgence. Now, if you're a Persona fan, get excited for this because Persona 4 Revival was finally shown beyond just a teaser. Atlus has officially brought Persona 4 back with a full remake rather than a simple remaster, so it looks to be a lot like Persona 3 Reload, being built from the ground up with some modern visuals, updated stuff, and a refreshed presentation, while obviously keeping the core intact. I'm super excited to play this one because I've played Persona 3 Reload and I've enjoyed that, and I will have a video on that soon. But what makes this interesting is how beloved Persona 4 is. I know there are a core group of people who say this is the best one, same thing as Persona 5, Persona 3. So based off everything I've read, the mystery of this story and the characters left a massive mark on the series, and the question now is, how is Atlas going to update it, whether it stays faithful or expands things more aggressively this time around? And I know some Persona fans are a little bit skeptical of what could happen, so we'll see how we go. Of course, we can't not mention Persona 6, and that's finally surfaced with at least something. I know it's not that much of a teaser. It looks to be a little bit darker. It kind of has like a Ghostbusters aesthetic to it as well, so it might have something to do with phantoms or ghosts. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. But there's still a lot left under wraps. It's no longer a distant project. It's actively taking shape. The challenge here is pretty substantial. I mean, Persona 5 wasn't just a hit. This was like a JRPG that defined an entire generation. So everything about Persona 6 now carries that weight, and even the small details are going to be scrutinized heavily by fans. Now, if you're a Xenoblade fan like I am, there was a lot to enjoy here. Starting off with Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 definitive editions or Switch 2 editions coming out. They're going to be at 4K 60 FPS, and I think I'm most excited to give Xenoblade 2 another shot and enjoy it with some better performance. And I'm so glad that Monolith Soft is doing that, because these games are capable of running really well on outdated hardware with the Nintendo Switch. So I'm super excited to see how they go for the Switch too. And some of those are going to be available as soon as like July. So that's super exciting, and I hope you guys will give those a shot. But that's not everything Xenoblade. Xenoblade Genesis was announced, and this is a brand new entry that could be a fresh start for the series, or it could be a continuation. Who knows? I know that all the Xenoblade theorists out there are probably having a heyday on YouTube right now, and after this I will probably go and watch some and see what kind of dots I can connect. So it seems to take place in a world where everything is powered by this mysterious energy called anima. But of course, the characters and the people in the world can't let that be, so it's been weaponized, and those who can harness it are known as like a specific thing. So the story is going to follow the main character who enrolls at a school, which is an academy built to train the anima users. I'm excited because behind the scenes, this is kind of a dream team return. We've got Tetsuya Takahashi back as the director, and Yasunori Mitsuda, one of my favorite composers of all time, is back as well. So this is going to be a wonderful experience, and if it's any bit as good as Xenoblade Chronicles 3, it could easily go in my top 10 games of all time. So I'm super excited for that, and I think that's 2026 or 2027, so not far off. It's going to be another amazing adventure. Nintendo also showed off Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which is going to be super exciting. Three Houses was a fantastic game, and that featured 3 different perspectives. This one's going to have 4 new characters and 4 new perspectives. I'm interested to see how they're all going to tie together, and whether or not one route is going to be easy, the other one's going to be medium, the other one's going to be hard. I'm interested to see how that all goes, but this feels like the developers trying to strike a balance between the series' 2 identities, some deep character-driven systems on one side and some tight tactical gameplay on the other side. So it looks pretty fun, and there might be some story callbacks as well to Three Houses. So there's going to be a lot to look forward to when this finally comes out. Now, lastly, I can't not mention a remake of this game. If you're a 90s kid, you know you love Ocarina of Time. I'm so excited to see how this goes. Obviously, it's not super relevant to JRPGs, or, it is an RPG, I guess, but still, there's been so many fan remakes of this floating around, like Unreal 5 engine demos or whatever. But for a game that defined an entire era of action-adventure design, this is an announcement that instantly takes over any conversation. So whether you grew up with it or you're going to discover it for the first time, this is a chance to re-experience one of the most important games ever made in modern form. So I hope you're excited for the remake of Ocarina of Time, as well as everything else that I mentioned in this video. Also, if you want some more RPG stuff, please check out Indie Quest. This was a effort by one of my friends, Taylor from the Gaming Shelf, who put on like a 70+ minute indie RPG showcase. There's so many beautiful games that I can't even begin to cover them. And also, I was one of the featured presenters as well for a game that I'm super excited about called Sacrifice. So thank you so much for watching today. Let me know what you're excited for down in the comments below, and I can finally get back to normal schedule for next week's video, because I actually had to postpone what I was going to release this week because it would have been drowned out in the wave of announcements. So look forward to that. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.